I'm going to sing a song called Love the Library's Gifts. And I wrote that today, October 30th, 2022. And then I'm going to talk about Angel, and James is going to talk about the Order of Mass.
The Order of Mass in Latin and English, New English translation. It's a Catholic.
So here's my song, Love the Library's Gifts. I'm just making it up. Peruse your public library, there's entertainment there for free. Between the covers of a book, within computer games kids play, and movies for your family. So go and take a look today. I use my public library to type up all my poetry and write a blog with videos of all the songs I write and sing. I post myself for all to see, but so far no one knows a thing. Elusive fame is fine by me, since I enjoy my privacy while hiding here within plain sight and hanging on my private thread within the web. But possibly with time I might be read. I love my public library and I give thanks for all of the resources that I'm free to use, since you can come and use them too. Choose something from your library. Each thing's a gift you choose for you. And I think I accidentally left out a couple words there, but that's okay.
It doesn't matter. People at home
Doesn't matter at all.
pretty tolerant out there.
I wrote this
like the
because
thing.
I noticed there was a few things that the library staff, I guess, had suggested. Get involved with this or whatever, I don't know. There was one thing about list your favorite movie or something, and I put down that window because that's an awesome movie. And then they had this write the library a love letter thing, and so I thought, okay, well, I'll write a song then, because that's what I do. So
One of the things you do.
yeah. So, but I have a headache today, so I'm trying to heal that. I've been getting a lot of headaches lately. It's not fun. Anyway, Angel, I wanted to mention, not only can you get lots of movies, like I got this, I borrowed this Angel 30 disc set from the library.
30 discs.
Yeah. I thought I'd watch them all, but I didn't see any of the episodes from season 2, apparently. So that's good I borrowed this, because then I got to realize that. But anyway, so when I'm not feeling well, I spend more time laying and watching TV and then falling asleep. So I mostly sleep. But that's okay, because really, I mean, I'm not going to get that much out of this. But you can also get free popcorn from the library right now. So you can get your movie and your popcorn.
There you go.
Library.
And it's actually, what are they? Pop Smart? What's it called? I think Thin Pops or whatever. Skinny Pops. So I think they're designed maybe to not put weight on or something like that. Are they low in butter or?
It says 80 calories per bag, but honestly,
Okay.
I could eat like 30 bags of them in one sitting, so I don't know.
But we
don't-
just don't, right?
No, we don't, because
I
we
eat
get
one
it for
for
free
one
from
sit.
the library, and they give us one bag per day on
Yeah. So it's
usually
not like
on the weekdays, so
it's not like one of those big tubs that
no.
people get.
So then, I mean,
along
we're
with a big
limited
gulp.
to, so that's really the
Yeah.
skinny side of it, is that they're giving out these little tiny bags at the library, so
So that's good. You know,
so
you
I'm
don't
not eating a lot of them.
overindulge. I remember when I was a kid, I ate so much popcorn. Woke up in the middle of the night. I was downstairs, and I managed to open up the window. It opened up like this, and I puked all over the window.
Oh wow.
I ate too much, got too much
Yeah,
salt, I
yeah.
suspect. You know? So I can eat too much of it, and it's best to just get it in small doses.
Yeah. So what were you going to talk about the Order of Mass?
Well, I was just going to show what happened.
I noticed your book.
I left it out in the
forgot
rain.
it in the rain, yeah.
But yeah, it was a fairly
So,
serious multi-day
I hope
rain.
you went over it very well the last
Oh,
time
I think I've
you
rescued it.
read it. Oh, you're going to...
Yeah, because I've been
Okay.
drying it out. We've had all this wind the last
Yeah.
little while,
Well, that's true.
and I don't see really any sign of mold. So it's kind of crazy that I was able to do that. Anyway, I'm opening it up to another page. It's a little bit damp yet. It was amazing. I thought I'd lost it for sure. Not that it's really much
No.
worth saving, but it's actually pretty good. I wouldn't recommend you buy it new. You probably don't even want to buy it used unless
What
you're
about the order
like
mass,
rocking on.
though? Would you recommend you buy that new?
Not new, used. Yeah. I mean, it's pretty small. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'd like to think the
Not a whole
Catholic
lot
Church
there.
kind of gives it away. All booklets are published thanks to the generosity of the supporters of the Catholic Truth Society. Okay, well, maybe that's why it's such a slim volume. I don't know how much truth is involved, particularly when you look
Did you enjoy
at.
the read?
Well, I got
It
it.
has some songs in there.
Yeah, exactly right. With the old-fashioned way of indicating plain song and stuff like that. So there's no harmony or anything like that. No? And then it gives the
Latin words.
yeah, exactly right. It also gives the English translation.
Oh, that's
so you
very
can
nice.
sing it
In English or?
Save us, Salvador. Crucified and resurrected, well, through his crucifixion and resurrection, through your crucifixion, they reverse so much, it's hard to translate his native. And then set us free, or liberated us. At any rate, I was doing this to try and get, they say it's pretty easy to read Latin once you've learned it, if you're reading the church stuff.
And
it's made for people easier, not necessarily easy.
Okay.
You know, like I've taken 4 layers of Latin, and I still really can't read it. I gotta be honest about it. You know, Latin is tough. I know almost every word. We've adopted pretty well every word in Latin and English. There are exceptions, but what the heck? And it's just the grammar is so. I have to say difficult. It's not as difficult as many other words. But grammar is incredibly difficult. But it's just I gotta admit, grammar is not my forte. What I say, it's not to my taste either. I love words. I love vocabulary and stuff like that. So I'm good with vocabulary. Some languages I'm getting better at the grammar, like German. French I was taught early enough so that it comes relatively naturally, and of course it's quite easy if you can read it. But it's well worth going through. You can see how it's set up, kind of like various services and stuff like that. The Eucharistic prayer, so when you're having the Lord's Supper, as Protestants tend to call it. You have a prayer and stuff like that. They've got a couple of prayers here, 3 prayers. They've got the communion rite. There are some variants, depending on the time of year, and so on and so forth. Introductory rites, the liturgy of the word, so on and so forth. Liturgy is a Greek word, actually. There's a fair amount of Greek stuff in it, even though it's in Latin. For example, Kyrie eleison, Lord have mercy. Kyrie means Lord. Both those words are Greek. It's occasional Hebrew one. Hosanna is Greek. Jubilee, I think it's a Greek word as well. I don't know if it's in. Deo Sabaoth, Lord of hosts. Sabaoth is it's a plural. It's Hebrew. Deus is Latin. God of hosts. So Hosanna and Excelsis. whereas they often mispronounce it. It should
Well,
be.
it looks like it's a
Yes.
fun way to try to learn Latin.
It's fun to learn. I recommend taking some grammar to get you over that hump, or at least on your way. I can't say I'm really over the hump. I haven't reached the pass yet where it's the grammar is just second nature. But
It's
it's a
interesting that
funner
you
sort
brought
of-
that out, because I was thinking that the Angel series, I was reminded of something that somebody said to me once, and she knew I was into the Buffy, the Vampire Slayer thing, and I liked Angel too, but honestly, Angel's not as good a show as Buffy was. But
Well, it misses Buffy, right? Buffy, is she in it ever so occasionally?
not very often.
Well, there you go. Was she trying a movie?
But they did pull in some good characters from the Buffy show into the
You like
Angel
Cordelia?
show.
Is
Yeah,
there a name?
I
Cordelia?
did. Yeah.
Cordelia.
But
And others?
yeah, but this friend that
Oh, does it have the funny guy, Sander? Or whatever?
no, it does not, and
He's the best.
Exactly.
Both Pauline and I agree. He's the best.
But anyway, so and plus there's some things that are, I mean, basing the show on the big star is the vampire, and I mean he's not supposed to age, and you know he's going to, so it's not going to last that long, right? I mean they can't possibly make it last that long.
So
Well,
hence
now
his
they
move
could
over
if-
to
I
Bones
mean,
as he
yeah,
started. He
but-
really didn't get old. I don't think he's a smoker. You know, he still looks kind of boyish in Bones.
But anyway, so she'd said to me, well, Buffy, it's so Christian. And I was like, huh? You know, and
I
just
think
didn't see
Christians
it.
would absolutely
Because
hate it.
yeah, I was not, I definitely wouldn't have thought that. But now watching the Angel show, I think, gee, you know, it's pretty Catholic.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I wouldn't have thought that before when I was younger, but
okay.
now I look at it and I'm like, it is pretty funny, the whole opening sequence when it's like people are praying for him and he's like jumping around and his it's like he has his trench coat is like angel wings or something flapping in the wind.
That's what they've
I
set
don't
it
know.
up like.
Yeah, so they set it up really well now. But,
I haven't seen the opening. I've heard it
Yeah.
going away and stuff like that.
But anyway, it's so I just wanted to say that it's a different way of looking at it, and I wouldn't have looked at it that way. But since she said it to me, every time I've kind of wondered, and now I think, okay, maybe, you know.
Yeah,
It's a
I
different way
fear
of looking
that
at
there's
it.
some Catholics that want to exercise not just the whole cast, but anyone and everyone involved with a movie. But yeah, okay.
Yeah. So that's all I really had to say. Unless you wanted to say more about the Order of Mass.
Not really. I recommend that people go through it so they kind of get a better understanding what's happening with Catholicism and so on and so forth. What it used to be like. I think the Order of Mass had to be in Latin until maybe 1962. Before you were born, but I was about 8 years old. They changed it up. You know, I'll be reviewing a book that's supposed to explain Catholicism to you, and it comes from a guy who's, I think, a priest or something like that, maybe in the Catholic hierarchy. And he's really enthused about Catholicism and stuff like that. And, it's important to understand it. You know, I don't particularly care for Catholicism, especially when you look at the role it played from roughly 300 AD to well into the 20th century, so that's 1700 years. You know, I think they'd basically given up killing people by the 20th century, but it wasn't. I think, do they still have an index of books that they recommend being censored, or not censored, being destroyed or whatever, not being read? It's shameful. So, and of course they killed lots of people. It's as Heinrich Heine said. I think he died somewhere around 1852. He was a German Jew. He said, this is a bad translation, the German original, something like, where they burn books, there ultimately they burn people. And the Catholic Church has done both. they're not the only Christian church that have been involved in burning books. Or even records. There are a lot of Christians in the United States, particularly in the southeastern United States, who are burning Beatles records when John Lennon was quoted as saying something like that. We're more important than Jesus. Jesus came. And for a while there, for many people in the Western world, so-called Western world, they were. But I'm sure there are a lot of people that scrabble around with the rubble after. I think I'm ready to Rubber Soul or something like that. It was probably 1966. Rubber Soul might have just come up. And to be perfectly frank, Rubber Soul is better than this. I'm not necessarily saying that Rubber Soul is better than the Bible, at least in the original and stuff like that, the original Hebrew, in case of the Old Testament, the original Greek in the New Testament. Those sorts of documents are more important ultimately for their influence, but artistically, well, the Old Testament, maybe Psalms and stuff like that.
It is interesting that they put the truth in there, right?
Oh, here, yeah.
That is pretty cute because, I don't know, I remember watching that
Catholic
great
Truth
course
Society.
about the Bible, and there's probably a few, but the instructor that was teaching it was talking about how there's, in all the records that they have of the scriptures, there's more differences than there are similarities. And everybody thinks, well, that's the gospel truth, that's the, whatever you read, that's the word, and it's like, okay, well, it wasn't written in English, but then even if you think, all right, well, here, the Catholic Church, they were using the Latin, and so you might be thinking, okay, well, that probably is, true to the, when it first came out kind of thing, or whatever, that's why they're doing it in Latin, but it's like, how would you know? If you didn't speak Latin, you wouldn't know if they changed it along the way anyway, right? And
it's kind of ridiculous. They're saying, oh, this is the original. No, it isn't the original. I think the Latin translation that they used, the Vulgata, was done by, I've forgotten his name, but one of the so-called saints. Maybe 300 AD, 300 years is a long time. Maybe it's 250 or something like that. And it's in a different language, it's translation. If they're going to be so pristine and pure, they should have been using, as Pauline said, suggesting the original Hebrew for the Old Testament, the original Greek for the New Testament, and not relying on a translation. So it's crazy that they waited, like 1,600 plus years, maybe almost 1,700 years to say, okay, we translated it once into the Latin. We're not going to rely on that translation. We'll just have it translated into vernacular of the various portions of the world. The Spanish speaking have the Spanish translation, the English speaking part of the world translation, and things like that. So, I'm not enthused about Catholicism. It's kind of morphed, for how long, I don't know, into something a lot milder than it was even 100 years ago. Roughly 100 years ago, Bertrand Russell said, and this is before the era of political correctness, it was his actual correctness, and he just said the greatest threat. He was a little bit wrong. It might have been a little bit before communism, and maybe a little bit even before fascism, and almost certainly before Nazism came to power. But he said the greatest threat to liberty in the world today is the Catholic Church. And potentially it still is, because it's not a democratic institution. So it all comes down to what the present Pope is. The present one right now is relatively enlightened, but the one before him, the German guy, was pretty backward in any number of ways. I don't even know what it is. I don't know how many Urbans and Gregs there have been. Gregory. Oh, there have been. It's just like when you get up around 8, you're going, how do I distinguish? At least John Paul, there's only been 2 of them. And I'm like, someone once joked, I think it was on Saturday Night Live, I'm waiting for Ringo Starr, or no, George Ringo, or Ringo George. Like, yeah, I'd really go, I'd say, that guy'd be a cool dude. I'm Ringo George the First. But, yeah, it's, like reading Catholicismo para Dummies, Catholicism for Dummies. It's very early on, it was really revelatory, shall we say. It was a revelation, an apocalypse. But I was going through this one page, over the right-hand side of the page, as I recall, said there are 2 sources of authority for the Catholic Church for what they do. And at the bottom, it's the first one is the Bible. I'm going, what the heck could be the other one? They're so innocent. I was almost retirement age. I flip over the page. Oh, the church hierarchy. That's a problem. And it's got them in problems. The original idea of Christianity that you can get from the Bible, from the New Testament, is Jesus was a pacifist. He was a nice guy. Yeah, he's a megalomaniac from my point of view. He thought he was the Son of God. But, he was pretty peaceful, and, it was just basically peace, love, and flowers, except for what was going to happen to not so nice people after the Last Judgment. Then it wasn't going to be not so nice people. Then it wasn't going to be peace, love, and flowers. But, the Catholic Church, all of a sudden they get that second source of authority, the Pope and his minions, and then they're whacking people and stuff like that. Well, that's why it's important. People. One guy who taught me one religious studies, I'm not going to say which one, said the problem with the religion today is fundamentalism. Oh, no. In Christianity, fundamentalism, if it actually goes back to the original Jesus, and they're not snake handlers, and saying they can still do miracles and stuff like that, is one of the best religions possible. One of the best belief systems ever developed by humankind. But, that type of fundamentalism, and there's not much of it sadly in the world today. The fundamentalism of Christianity tends to be pretty benighted, coming out of the United States. They tend to call it evangelical or whatever. It's pretty bad stuff. Maybe worse than the Catholic Church is now with the present-day Pope. But, again, it could change on a dime, and you could have another.
Well, I thought they got rid of that Pope that was a Nazi.
Well, he, the big guy guy upstairs.
I might
got
not be
rid of.
right about
Oh
that.
no, you're right. Let me think.
What did he do?
Was he a Nazi?
It was something like that.
I think he was kind of like a Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah.
That was that John Paul II?
No, not him. It was the one
Polish guy?
afterwards. No, I think he was okay.
Okay.
It was the next guy.
Borderline. He was anti-communist, and I think he was old enough to be around. I suspect, if you really check close, Polish. And one person said, unfortunately, too accurately, it's not total accuracy. He said, the Poles are amazing. They've managed to have anti-Semitism without Jews. The Jews has cleared out, the Nazis cleared out a ton of them, maybe 3 million Jews out of Poland during World War II. And then when the Jews came back, wow, it's crazy. They came back to Poland after they'd been so-called liberated by the Russians. They'd just been taken over by the Russians. Wasn't much liberation involved. Definitely wasn't independence. They'd go to their homes and say, "Well, thanks for keeping our house warm, Polish person." And the Polish person drove them out. Hey, my home now. You id or whatever they'd call them. Yeah, pretty bad. No, and it's still pretty bad now in Poland for anti-Semitism. I'd like to think there's all sorts of wonderful exceptions, tons and tons of them, but I'm afraid that's not the case. So you Poles listening, smarten up. The Jews are the best nation in the world, frankly, per capita. and the most enlightened, the most intelligent IQ tests bear that out. Highest average IQ per capita. And they're just the nicest and stuff like that. There are all sorts of exceptions, of course, but it's smarten up, folks.